channel. So today's video is going to be about body image with a chronic illness. I'm going to mention it now. We are talking about body image, so if this is going to trigger you, please do not watch this video in any way. We're going to be talking about weight and pretty much everything that could possibly trigger you is probably going to be mentioned in this video. So yeah, if you were triggered by this kind of stuff, please do not watch this. But if you were new here, I'm Jamie. This is simply Jaylyn. This is my channel where I post pretty much every type of content out there, just depending on what I want to make. And yeah, this video is specifically addressing body image with a chronic illness because I have postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, as well as some undiagnosed GI issues, and I'm still being a guinea pig for a few things. So yeah. But over the last few months, I've gotten some comments from people I know out in the world, some social media comments about some stuff. I mentioned some stuff in videos, other stuff I haven't mentioned in videos, and I just kind of want to get on here and address the comments I've been getting. And I figured, I made a video like this years back. I'll link it in the cards if I remember. But let's just get started. So when I first got sick 2 years ago, at this point I have been sick for 14 years. It took me 12 years to get a correct diagnosis. And when I first got really sick, like right before, like 6-7 months before I got diagnosed with POTS, I realized I was losing weight at like a drastic rate. I started out 115 pounds. I was almost all muscle. And within 3 months, I had lost 10 pounds. And I was super freaking weak. I could barely do anything. And I was used to working out, and I was working as a firefighter. So my job was very strenuous. We did a lot of lifting. So that's when I first started realizing, and how I started realizing that I was super weak and I was losing my muscle and everything, because I wasn't able to lift like I had been able to. But that's how I realized I was having, like, I was really sick, because I did not lose weight like that. I would lose a pound or two here or there every now and then, but I never lost 10 pounds in like a 2-month period. I had never done that. I don't diet. I eat what I want when I want to. I don't restrict myself. I've just never been like that. I'm also going to mention I've always been smaller. I am 5'2", and I've always been I was underweight when I was in high school. And when I got to college, I finally found my healthy weight. And then when I started lifting weights for my job and for working out and all that, I gained muscle. So me being between 100 and 115 pounds is normal for me. And I'm mentioning this now because this kind of plays into what's going on now. The last 6 months or so, I've been having some really bad GI issues. I could not eat pretty much anything. If I put it in my body was rejecting it within probably 5 to 10 minutes after I did it. It just did not want food. Sometimes I couldn't even keep water down. So then that's when I started noticing I was losing weight again. I've mentioned this in a few vlogs. I've mentioned some other stuff too about body image and a few things. And I've gotten comments even when I haven't mentioned that stuff that you look smaller than normal, or you look like you've dieted. And I don't diet. I'm not, if I want a piece of cake or a donut, I'm going to have that piece of cake or a donut. I'm just that kind of person. I always have been. I'm going to balance it out somehow. But I am I'm not restricting myself. So I'm not dieting. That's not why I'm losing weight. I'm losing weight simply because I had months where I couldn't keep anything down. And for me, this is kind of where the body image thing comes in, because for someone who is underweight, the majority of her life, like, I was either right on point for weight or underweight, and nobody ever said anything. And then as I got to high school, it started to be picked out. 16, I weighed 75 pounds. And it turns out that was drastically and grossly underweight for my height at that time, and nobody had ever said anything. Doctors didn't say anything. They just let it go. And I was always one of those people, when I was skinny, I thought I was fat. I think that's just a female thing. We're skinny and we think we're fat. And then as we get older and we start gaining weight and we start gaining muscle and all that in different areas, we realize that we weren't fat. We just thought we were. Earl joined. Here's his tail. So yeah, like, I went through the typical body image thing, and now with a chronic illness, body image is so different, because now I'm not looking at it as I need to gain weight or I need to lose weight. I'm looking at it completely different. And I still have the things. I do not like to be called tiny. I do not like to be called small. And for some reason, I can call myself small, because yes, I am. I know I'm small. I'm 5'2". I'm never going to be a giant. I hate being called small by other people. I'll call myself small. It doesn't bother me. But when other people point out, you're just really small, and they do it over and over and over again, it bothers me. And especially now that I've had so many issues with my chronic illness that are weight loss and weight gain, and like, I lost a lot of my muscle and had to rebuild it, and I still haven't built back to where I was, because I lost so much because I was hardly able to work out. And there was a period of time I couldn't work out. There was a period of time where I would go to Zumba class, do one song, and that would be it, because that's all my body could handle. So I went from, I think that's a lot of where it is for me. My body image is a lot of what I used to look like and what I should look like versus what I do look like because of my chronic illness. Like, I never know where I'm going to be. Like, I stopped weighing myself altogether. I don't weigh myself at all anymore because I don't want to see how much I've lost. Because I stepped on a scale at a doctor's office, and this is like a month or like a 2-month period and I went from 113 to 105. And the doctor looked at me and said, "You haven't been able to eat, have you?" He didn't tell me you've lost almost 10 pounds. He didn't lecture me on that. It was just, you haven't been able to eat. And I haven't. And I think that's a lot of why I'm doing this video and when I'm doing it now, because of where I'm at. Like, that appointment was almost 2 months ago when you're seeing this video. And I do not weigh myself at home. I have a scale. I could if I wanted to, but I don't, because I don't want to feel like, because I feel horrible when I see how much I've lost, because I got to a healthy weight after, because I lost all this weight and I got back to a healthy weight and I gained some of my muscle back, and now and then I started having GI issues really severely in December, and ever since then I have lost so much weight that it's actually upsetting to me to see that, because I'm scared to death I'm going to end up back to where I was when I first got sick. Because part of me thinks that me losing all that weight when I first got sick is going to start all over again. And then there's the point where I wake up and I look in the mirror, and some mornings my clothes are falling off because I've lost so much weight to where I have to find another pair of pants that I hope fit, because everything is pretty much the same size. Like, I have not changed sizes in clothing, but the sizes I wear some of them aren't fitting. And then there are some mornings I wake up where I am so bloated from the GI issues that my clothes are, they fit, but they're uncomfortable because I am so bloated. Like, people don't look at it, the chronic illness, but everybody looks at body image and goes, okay, skinny, fat, healthy, unhealthy. And when you have a chronic illness, you can't look at it that way, because I have a chronic illness. I'm not necessarily unhealthy. Like, I'm not healthy because I have a chronic illness, but if you look at me on the outside, you wouldn't say she has a chronic illness, so she's not healthy. I think that's the biggest thing. People look at me, they don't see that I have a chronic illness, so they just make these comments. Like, I went for my women's wellness exam, and the woman kept telling me how skinny I was, or how small I was. And like, I'm thinking, yeah, I know. I'm 5'2", and I'm barely, I don't even remember what I weighed at that appointment. And I've lost so much. So when she kept, well, you're skinny, you're small, have you always been this small? No, I shrunk. No, one day I woke up and I was 5 foot. I've always been this small. My mom is short, I am short. It kind of goes hand in hand, I'm pretty sure. And I don't mind being called small when I'm doing it, because yes, I realize I'm small. But when a doctor is looking at you, and instead of doing their job, they're making comments about, well, you're short, well, you're skinny, have you always been this small? Have you always been this short? Have you always been this skinny? Like, what? I think that's when my brain shut off. And then, because I went to the doctor I went to my regular doctor that following week for some other chronic illness stuff, because I'll talk about that in another video. I think you've probably already seen that video when you see this one, about me being in a flare for so long. And I'll link that one in the cards if it's up before this one goes up. But I went in because I was in a chronic illness, because I was in a POTS flare. And he looked at me and he said, "You've lost weight. You haven't been able to eat." And he goes, You're short anyway, so when you lose weight, it falls off and it makes you look skinnier than you are." And he said, "You have built back some of your muscle that you lost," because he knew I had lost so much muscle, because when I first started seeing him in 2021, I had still had some muscle left, but I lost a lot more in the process of the whole diagnosis thing. So he knew roughly what I looked like before I got really, really sick. But he even mentioned that, because it was in my chart, that the woman who did my women's wellness exam had mentioned several times that she's very skinny, she's very short, and she's very small. And it was like, she's very small in stature. It's like, and my doctor even said that did not need to be mentioned. Yes, I have a chronic illness, but that is not because I'm short. I'm short because my mother is short. It's genetics. Like, I'm sorry for your luck. It's kind of like I said, I'm never going to know what it's like to be 6'5". And I don't care. Like, when I was 16, I had my pediatrician offer me to go to a doctor to give me medicine to make me taller. So I've kind of dealt with this stuff my entire life, and that goes a lot into my body image thing, and that goes a lot into being called small. Because when you're told by a doctor, well, you can go see this doctor and they can make you taller, it's like, why do you care if I'm tall? Does it offend you that I am smaller? And then I think that's honestly it. Because when I start getting comments from people out in public, or that people that I know are, "Oh my God, you're so skinny. Oh my God, you're anorexic." No, I'm not anorexic. I'm skinny. I am skinny because I have a chronic illness, and for months I could not keep food down. And sometimes I still struggle with that. Like, I'm struggling with that right now as I film this video, and I'm hoping that I can make it through till my nausea pill kicks in, because it hasn't kicked in yet. Because there are so many things. I think that's a lot of people don't realize what goes into health and what goes into body image, because everything affects, like, I look at myself and I'm so disappointed sometimes because I'm not where I should be, and I'm not where I could be based off where I was 2 years ago before I got extremely sick. I look at myself and I see how much weight I have lost since December, when I started having really, really bad GI issues. So, like, I have enough issues on my own. I do not need people making comments about my height and my weight. And, like, my dad the other day, "You've really shrunk down." Like, where have you been last how many freaking months? You were my dad, and you just realized that I've lost 10 pounds? Because last time I was at the doctor, I pretty much lost 10 pounds. I don't know where I'm at now. I don't know if I've lost any more. I don't know if I've gained back some. I don't know. I had a few weeks where I could eat and I didn't have any nausea issues, so I'm hoping that maybe I've gained some weight back. But I don't like the comments. Nobody does. Woman, man, you don't like the comments. And for me, my body image is so distorted because of my chronic illness, because of the issues I have. It's not even funny. But I have found a place where I've learned to like myself. I've learned to like how I look. And I've kind of learned that as long as my clothes still fit and I don't look ill from the weight I've lost, then maybe I don't need to worry about it. That's kind of where I'm at. Like, I stopped weighing myself because there for a while I was weighing myself every time I got in the shower. So every 2 or 3 days. But I'm kind of at that point. If my clothes fit and I can keep food down for a day, then I'm going to like myself. And I have gained some muscle back, but I'm not where I was. But I'm not going to beat myself up for it. So when people make nasty comments about me being small or me being skinny, and I love the comments of "you're anorexic," and that's sarcasm. I do not like those comments. That's mean and cruel. Because you don't know me. You don't know if I struggled with an eating disorder. You don't know anything about me. And there are some days that I do look skinnier than others, depending on what I'm wearing. Like, if I wear my high-waisted black leggings and a black tank top or a black t-shirt, yeah, I'm going to look a lot smaller than I do when I wear my baggy sweatpants and my oversized hoodie. Trust me, I don't look skinny today. And honestly, that's because I'm bloated and my stomach is killing me. So I did not want to wear tight clothes. That, and then I have the issue, like that's my body issues. And then I have the issues with my body image of, for a few months I was losing my hair. My hair was falling out in clumps. I could rub my hand through my hair and I would lose hair. I'm not doing that anymore, knock on wood. Through some extra supplements and I guess probably me being able to eat for a few weeks, I'm doing better. Like, everything is body image. Everything can affect your body image. Like, I've got hormonal acne right now when I'm filming this from my period. So I'm not exactly thrilled, but I did not have the spoons to put on makeup today. I am just at this point that I'm thrilled my hair is not falling out in clumps, knock on wood. And do I like the fact that I have acne all over my face right now because of my period? No. But I'm healthy right now. I'm healthy enough right now to have a period. And I've been so small and so skinny that my period has been really irregular. So I'm like, if you take out the chronic illness, I'm healthy. But you can't do that with me because that's part of who I am. My chronic illness is part of who I am. And that affects my body image but my chronic illness affects everything. It affects my weight. It affects how I'm able to keep on weight, if I'm able to eat, and then it affects if my hair's falling out or if I've got acne or not, because sometimes I just randomly break out So yeah, at this point, with my chronic illness, I've learned to accept what my body does. I've learned to accept that my body changes pretty drastically because of my chronic illness. And I've accepted what I look like. So for anybody who's going to make nasty comments about me being, about my size, about you look fat or you look so skinny, because when I'm bloated, I had somebody ask me a few weeks ago if I was pregnant because I was so bloated. And it took everything in my body not to punch them in the face. Because I'm so over the nasty comments. They barely knew me. And they look at me and go, "Are you pregnant? You look pregnant." So I turned around and went, "No, I'm bloated. I have a chronic illness. Would you like it?" Because honestly, I'm at the point, if I could trade this, I'm not even giving you the entire illness. I'll give you the symptoms I can't handle right now. And when you ask me if I'm pregnant because of my bloating, then you can have that one. And it especially hurts when it comes from somebody who's small as well. When you were skinny, if you bloat, you're going to look bigger. But I'm not going to ask you if you're pregnant because you're bloated, because I don't ask people that. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with this, my body image with a chronic illness. Some days it's easier to deal with than others. Mainly because some days you're not getting the nasty comments and others you are. But for most days, I am comfortable in my body. I know what my body does, and I'm not going to say I'm happy with my body every day, because I have chronic illness and I can't be. But I've kind of accepted the issues that I have with my chronic illness and what it does to my body. So yeah, that's going to be it for this video on body image with a chronic illness. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have not done so already, hit the red subscribe button down below. Other than that, and I do videos other than this kind of set down ranty talky video. I usually do day in the lives. I do occasional Zumba stuff if I'm feeling up to it, and pretty much anything else I want to, pretty much anything else that I want to film and what I'm doing. So I'm going to call this a video. Other than that, thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye bye.